This is 155 Yaxchilan. It is found in Chiapas, Mexico, from the Mayan culture. This lentil in particular was made in 725 CE. All of these buildings and lentils are made of limestone. Context is that the Mayans lived on the Yucatan and still do, the Yucatan Peninsula here, that is comprised today of Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. This peninsula is quite jungly, and so the structures made at the peak of the Mayan civilization were covered over by foliage, and kind of more in the 1900s have been rediscovered and have been studied by architects or archaeologists, excuse me. So this was the extent, you can see here in orange, of the Maya Empire. And our particular city-state, Yaxchilan, is right here. And that city-state existed for about 700 years. Yaxchilan is found alongside the Usumacinta River here, which is near Yaxchilan, shaped like a capital Omega letter. And right here at the neck of the Omega letter, there is just 500 meters crossing. So this is what we call an old meandering river. And you can see it here in this image. A lot of canoes taking tourists to go see Yaxchilan, but it is still today difficult to get to. It takes a couple days to get there. Context to know is that while people would have traveled down the Usumacinta River to trade during the Mayan civilization, they would have been like in canoes, and they would have looked up on their left here at the Yaxchilan. And you can see Yaxchilan has got acropolises. So here is the main acropolis, or the central acropolis, with a main plaza. There's a west acropolis, and then the highest acropolis right here is the south acropolis. So it would be pretty commanding down on people traveling on the Usumacinta River, and the Yaxchilan government would have been able to exact a toll from traders who are trying to pass by on the Usumacinta River. Further context is that there are about 80 buildings on this site built throughout the 700 years, and structures 40 and 33, which are a part of our set, were built by Bird Jaguar, kind of more toward the end of the 700 years. Maya civilization was divided into city-states. So you may have seen these step pyramids that have 9 massive steps to the top. This is kind of what I would say is what we know of as typical Mayan architecture. But since the Mayan civilization was divided into city-states, just like Greece, the city-states could have varying architecture. And you can see that here, that at Yaxchilan, this is their architecture. And these city-states were often at war with one another. More context here, this is our lentil number 25. There were 59 lentils documented by archaeologists when the Yaxchilan was uncovered. And we know what is happening in these lentils and in some of the buildings because there was writing. The Mayans had glyphs that tell a lot of the history of the Mayan civilization here at Yaxchilan. There are 2 leaders that we are mostly focused on here of this Mayan culture in the city-state of Yaxchilan. One is Shield Jaguar II, and the other is Bird Jaguar IV. And both of these leaders built these lentils and these buildings in order to solidify their rule, in order to demonstrate their power, and to legitimize themselves as leaders at Yaxchilan. The form of structure 33 is that it is a rectangular structure. It seems to have 3 levels, and the top level is what we call a roof comb. It's like a crown of this building. It is solely decorative. It is meant to impose upon its viewers this vision of intense height and leadership. And I've circled here these lintels that would have appeared here over the doorway that would have been highly carved in many of these buildings. You can see here the side of the kind of the third level, the roof comb on structure 33. The second level is cantilevered. It's not open, like people don't go up into the second level. It's only on the main floor here that people would have gone in and had ceremonies, maybe have slept, have socialized, but this is a tropical climate, so people don't necessarily need to be inside as much. So levels 2 and 3 were more about the visual imposing view. Form here of structure 40 is that it also is rectangular and has a roof comb, albeit deteriorating. It is located, though, let's look over at this map. It's located on the highest acropolis, the South Acropolis. So it's more remote, more removed from the Usumacinta River. This is where a leader would live. And, at the highest point, it kind of says, I'm a person of the highest power. And furthermore, in terms of form, structure 40 here, which is the center one here on the South Acropolis, is directly lined up to the summer solstice. So in the middle of summer, the longest day of the year, the sun would have shone through the middle door on this building. Form of the lintels is that they combine both text and images. And ours in particular, I think all three of these have been signed by the artist, so we know who made them. And they are combined high relief and incising. And you can see the people here. These are both, it's Shield Jaguar II and his wife, Lady Shock. And you can see that the heads are almond-shaped heads and that the noses are large. And these were signs of beauty in this culture at this time. These lentils would have been painted in blue, turquoise, and red, so they would have seemed really bright. This is, in terms of form, an example of that incising. So you can see that it's quite detailed. This is considered the masterpiece of Mayan lentils, Mayan art. It is found in the British Museum today. The content, structure 40, has inside it 3 altars. So there would have been some ceremonies happening inside these important buildings. And there's a stele, you can see it right here on the outside of the building. Lots of stairs also leading up to it, putting it even further up on this platform, making it higher and more esteemed. But on the stele, there is this image of Shield Jaguar and Shield Jaguar II. So this is father and son thing, and this is all about Shield Jaguar, who built this building or had it built, legitimizing his authority by getting his power from his father, who ruled for 60 years. On the back of the stele, here's Bird Jaguar IV again, shown conquering people. These are people he's conquered from other city-states and made them slaves. And again, we know all of this because of this Mayan writing, these glyphs. And then finally, content here for the lentil is that Lady Shock, spelled Xoc, is really powerful in Mayan culture. She's got heritage that ties her to previous leaders. And these 3 lentils telling kind of her role with Shield Jaguar II are found in what's called the bee's house, a buzzing beehive, a place where stuff is happening. And Shield Jaguar is honoring his wife by having these impressive lentils and that house, structure 23, dedicated to her. So We also know that Lady Shock and Shield Jaguar II were likely buried in this house. It's structure 23. It's since pretty deteriorated, but these lentils were taken out of the house and are now found in museums. Okay, that's 155 Yaxchilan in Chiapas, Mexico, from the Mayan culture, made in 725 CE out of limestone.